Greetings, everybody. I am Hypern. I'm your host of Wildin Out, our weekly series where we cover all the fresh news going on in the Wild series. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Fish and Marty B. Fish, how you doing today?
I am doing well. Very excited to be back after a week off.
Yep, for sure. Me too. Marty, how you doing?
Been a while since I've been on here, so good to be back. Hope you guys
Yeah.
are doing well.
Yeah, great to have you on here. Been holding down the fort without you. Trying to keep up the legacy of the best THL show, but yeah, it's a tough business.
True.
But yeah, I think a little bit of a shorter show today, just because we don't have any preview matches, given the patch, surprise patch dropping earlier today. But we can go ahead and start off with our player of the week, Fish. Who do we got?
All right. Yep. Our player of the week is Devalian. So coming into his match against Super Chicken, Devalian essentially needed a 3-1 win. He needed to win and prevent points, and he was able to take the 3-1 win to give World Shakers a 14-13 week win, with only 2 matches being won by World Shakers, and showed the top team in Brown Conference the power of Grumble. So congratulations to Devalian and huge clutch to get our team a week win.
Yeah, for sure. That's a huge win. You always love the weeks where you only win 2 matches, but still just have the points to take the week.
Yeah, it was sweep by Risky. We'll talk. Actually, we're going to talk about that match later, so we will save that for later.
All right. Well, congratulations to Devalian, and with that, we'll move into our meta overview. So first off, Demon Hunter still basically just coping a little bit. It's like we got a little bit more from last week. I think last week it was either 1 or literally 0 Demon Hunter.
I brought a Demon Hunter.
Yeah, we have a little bit of Demon Hunter this week. But all in all, class is pretty dead. Druid, we're seeing a slight drop overall, but it's still one of the more popular classes. Just huge variety in Druid decks. Cthulhu Druid still number 1, still frequently banned. Various alignment druids as well. Little experimentation with Mali Druid as well with the new spell, but it does seem like the older Druid win conditions are still much more popular. Hunter has dropped a little bit as well. Seems to have fallen off quite a bit. I've seen a lot of Copper Hunter or Beast Hunter, whatever you want to call it, on ladder, but that has not quite transitioned in THL yet. So Hunter's still mostly irrelevant. Mage, basically the same thing as last week. Tons of Quest Mage, quite a bit of Mech Mage, and that's about it. Quest Mage still very strong Conquest deck. Given the fact that you can ban Pirate Rogue, and other than Pirate Rogue, Quest Mage pretty good into most of the field. It's just that one and a couple other niche matchups make it not great for ladder. Paladin, basically the same thing. Mech Paladin still the standout, most brought deck here. I've actually seen 6 other Paladins here, so obviously quite a bit of experimentation here. I think there should be a lot of other decks across the board. I think a lot of people have brought gentlemen's agreements for this week, but yeah, mostly Mech Paladin again, still pretty strong deck, very similar to Mech Mage. Has the good matchup into Pirate Rogue, which is a very good favorable to have in this meta. Priest dropped a little bit. Once again, still a little bit of Inner Fire, a little bit of aggro Priest, but that definitely dropped off a lot from last week. Other than that, class still mostly irrelevant. Rogue, the big one. Actually seeing a little bit of a drop in Pirate Rogue, but overall, still I think the most brought deck
Yep.
in Pirate Rogue with 7 bans, 29 rings, and generally you can assume if you're not banning Pirate Rogue, you're probably trying to remain favorable into it, or if not, you're kind of just accepting that you're taking a loss there. So Pirate Rogue is just very, I mean, it has been the big contender of the meta for a while. With one recent exception, as we move into Shaman, Big Shaman has just exploded in popularity. Up to 28 brings, 9 bans. Yeah, the mini set really did wonders for Big Shaman. I think it was probably honestly fine before the mini set, but with getting Neptulon, you just have one more minion that you really want to hit, and you know we it was an insanely powerful deck. As we now know with the patch today, did get hit pretty severely, but it was an extreme power outlier, and got brought 28 times, just one below Pirate Rogue, which had kind of been the top deck for almost the entire season, really. So it was kind of interesting just to see a deck kind of come out of nowhere, even though only getting I think one new card. It was you know insanely powerful deck. Um, Free Shaman dropped quite a bit, but still around. Actually, seeing surprising 7 bans.
Hmm.
Other than that, not a whole lot going around. Frog Shaman still, very niche. Direct nerf hurt that deck so much. Um, Warlock, um, same as usual, really. Tons of variety, mostly even Warlock. We've seen Mechathune actually take a significant drop. Even Warlock being the third most brought deck. Um, Very, very solid deck overall. I mean, we have the C double Gigafin combo, just insane high roll, but you know, even without it, the deck is still good. Making giants on turn 3 is good and powerful. So even more luck, definitely a staple of the format. Even and the high roll combo just makes it even better. Um, and lastly, warrior. Still pretty dead and wild, and um, yeah, not really a whole lot to say. Um, People still bring it niche. Lots of other warrior this time, which maybe a mix of older warrior decks in gentlemen's agreements, or just niche control warriors. Not really sure, but
Hmm.
yeah, overall not really a class in wild. um so yeah, that's about all I got. Y'all have any extra comments to add to anything here?
Um, it's hard to say. Like we just had nurse. Obviously, things are going to change from
Hmm.
this past week, but I don't know if that's enough to bring any of the supposed dead classes back. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Warrior isn't getting anything out of this. Demon
No.
Hunter isn't really getting anything out of this. They got hit too,
Hmm.
so Demon Hunter is actually worse off.
Demon Hunter
Yeah.
and Warrior got hit.
Yeah. So I don't imagine those come back.
Mhm.
As for Big Shaman, I think most of us are expecting the deck to pretty much disappear and evaporate.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, I think you know Big Shaman can still kind of do its thing, but at this point, it's probably just worse than Big Priest, because Big Priest can get online much sooner now, and we can see only one Big Priest. So that if Big Priest is better than Shaman, that kind of speaks to where Big Shaman will be without Bloom. Um, but yeah, I definitely fully agree. I mean, Warrior and Demon Hunter are the two classes that are
Yeah.
um, struggling the most in Wild. Also happen to be the two classes that were standouts in Standard, along with Rogue or so. But I think I agree with you there. Don't really expect them to rise up at all. um but with that, and yeah, with that, speaking of Brig Paste, NHL, what's our first featured deck of the week?
This is a big deck right here.
Mhm.
Quite literally, it's Big Priest from Just in Time here. So Big Shaman got a new card in Neptulon, and naturally other big decks want to try to use it. But this deck was a bit different. It was targeting Big Shaman in a way. And what I mean is you have Obsidian Statue. Okay, so thing is you basically make a bunch of statues and bloods. You hold off your opponent, keep resing them, and then if your opponent tries to make a big board after clearing yours, you just play Wildin Out and clear their board. So very powerful stuff. We have Gift of Luminance to create more bloods and obsidian statues so that we can make our board even more threatening and take care of our opponent's boards. And it's just very hard for any slower deck, really, or any big deck like Big Shaman, to get through all these massive taunts and get the damage in time before they get overwhelmed.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean Illuminate is the newest card Big Priest got, which you know is pretty good because that means you can theoretically get a turn 3 or turn 2 on the coin Shadow Essence, which is,
Gross.
you know, a lot better than than turn 5 or so, which is what Big Priest was, usually aiming for. Um and then just, Big Priest has always had kind of like a really, like it does have like really niche targets. Like, decks like Big Shaman are kind of exactly what you want to be hitting here. Even has the added benefit of like, you know, Big Shaman's, easiest way to or cheapest way to get, cheap minions is through Ancestor's Call, which, playing Ancestor's Call against a Big Priest is not exactly the thing you want to be doing the most. So can definitely see that, being a, pretty niche matchup that is very favored for the priest. So um definitely a good off meta call out there. Um but with that, Fish, what's our next featured deck we have?
All right. Our other featured deck for the week is Just Concede's Boar Paladin. Not the boar that we standard players think of. This is Stone Tusk Boar, and essentially putting a 1 mana charge minion in a deck that runs Garden's Grace and other things like that. Cards like there's some very interesting cards in here that help you obviously draw, like Acolyte of Pain, Myrmidon. Have ways to have the board clears with a quality and combination of cards there, City Tax. And even though it says 8 mana Cariel there, that is because Cariel was nerfed. It was 7 mana last week, obviously. It was 7 mana a few hours ago. But this is a really interesting deck. I respect the bring here from Just Concede. You have the Christology to tutor out acolytes and boars. And it got the job done. It was able to get a win with it. So good shout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Timeout's an interesting card for sure to bring as well. I don't exactly know what the card does, but I'm guessing it fits in really nicely.
So it's basically ice block, but you play
Okay.
the card on your turn.
Gotcha.
It makes your hero immune until your next turn.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So basically, this was just a control paladin brought by Just Concede.
Mm-hmm.
Just retrofitted for wild.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you play Carol, you buff your boar up to a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Play it.
Yeah, this was like
hit him in the face.
This is like especially hedged towards like Big Shaman with like, we have Shrink Ray,
Yes.
Righteous Defense, Equality, all that. Just Concede's kind of like known for playing a lot of aggro decks. And his opponent I think this past week was 6J, who's very known for, target lineups. So yeah, he just switched it up, kind of limited in his collection, but did his best converting standard Holy Paladin over to wild using boars instead of smite, and it worked. So yeah, props there. But with that, we can move into our next section of the show, which is our match recaps. Starting over in Green Conference. Marty, want to tell us about Green Conference?
Happy to. So we'll start at the top, and we have Sunken Shakers at 151 points. 18 points of second place, Zorella's Disciples XD. Hybrid, I'm sure you're very proud of the way your team has been performing. 133 points, 6-2. Very well done as the regular season wraps up. Then after them, it's F2 Meridian in third place, followed by Anduin's Playboy Mansion, uh, Bone Mashers, APM Wild Team, the original APM team.
Mhm.
In fifth, definitely not out of the playoff race just yet.
Mm,
We have the Worgen Greasers, who actually got a lot of points
this week.
already this week. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say they're very much like they need APM to not get points to win.
correct.
So not like as soon as APM gets 2 points, they're in.
Yeah, they're just hanging on to that last bit of hope right now.
Yeah.
After that, we have Copium Clan at 93 points, and finally Bash Bros at 83 points.
Oh, okay. Dankus dad says it's bait. We've all played, and they're out.
What a
Oh.
shame.
That means that they did not get all the points left on the
unfortunate.
week.
And to think, I had just gotten this about less than an hour ago.
Yeah, it was less than an hour ago. You were like, I'm doing this now.
Yeah, does that? I guess it depends on. I'm not sure exactly what the matchups are in Brown Conference. It probably depend on because like it's what the top 3 teams in each conference and the 2 highest point earners after that. Not just the top 4 in each conference.
Oh.
So
Oh yeah, maybe they're not out of
yeah.
it yet. Maybe because
technically
Brown
speaking,
Conference is lower point totals.
yeah.
But Woke, I can't
Yeah,
not see Wokage and Round Earthers.
Yeah.
Them, but we'll talk about Brown
Yeah,
Conference in a
yeah.
bit.
We'll get to Brown in a bit.
Yeah.
Staying over in Green Conference. Our first featured match here is the 2 F2L teams. Meeting up in Wild Series. We had F2L Celadon taking a 15-12 win over F2L Viridian. Itachi getting a 3-2 win over Corbett. Ataraxial getting a 3-1 victory over Gitmeowth. Rebobson getting a 3-1 victory over the Rotted Zombie. Then Neji Boston getting a 3-1 victory over Swagwar. And Marty getting a 3-2 victory over Mediocre. Yeah, very close week overall, no sweeps. 15-12 seems like I think a single game 5 going the other way would have flipped the week, but yeah, two F12 teams meeting up. Yeah, this was insanely close overall. Seems like you can see Marty and Ogre had a pretty clear agreement going on with 8 other decks.
I can talk about that actually if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, we just asked around, telling people we need an old tempo snapshot.
Oh yeah.
And our good friend Martian was kind enough to pick one from the start of Knights of the Frozen Throne, and we were limited to decks from that snapshot. So it was fun playing
That's so
your
cool.
old favorites once more.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the lineup. It'll bring a lot of nostalgia back.
That's great. Yeah, love the depending on who you ask, some might argue Wildmid has been pretty stale with Big Shaman Pirate Rogue, so definitely seen a lot of agreements like that, and that's always pretty fun. Yeah, other than that, I think looks like Neji and Swag also agreed full Reno lineup. I'm not really sure. I think I think I heard like overall this was like pretty casual week. I think some people brought serious lineups, but
Yeah.
all in all, trying to have some good fun. So yeah, definitely a super close week. Both these teams are performing very well. Both are towards the top of their conference. So yeah, congrats to Celadon for the week win. Um, with that, Fish, you want to walk us through our next match?
I would love to. So for our next match, we have Zorella's Disciples. We have the battle. We have the battle of acronyms. We have XD and APM. So up at the top, we have Hyperin with a 3-2 win, continuing his undefeated season against I don't know if it's MR37 or Mr. 37, but against
Mr. 37.
I'll go with Mr. 37, 3-2. Yo Daddy with a 3-2 win over Martian. Tulio with a 3-2 win over Bone Masher. Quake Lord with a 3-1 win over Triple Lift. And OT Zaisha getting a 3-1 win over Slate. I think is it Slight or Slate?
Slight.
Slight, yeah, like sleight of hand. Okay, cool. So yeah, congratulations to XD, and that's a big win over a top 4 team in the conference.
Yep, definitely glad to get by with this one. I mean this was a pretty close week. I think we like I think the biggest like I guess like jump for us in this week was Tulio's match versus Bone Masher.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the lineups, I think he was like incredibly unfavored overall. But just managed to sneak through. I mean, he had to get Pirate Rogue through, all unfavorables, and then managed to do it. And then the mech decks were not great either. It was pretty rough for him on the matchup spread, but managed to get through. Other than that, most things could have gone either way, really. So yeah, definitely a really close week. Again, no sweeps. Nice, both teams getting good points on the board. Which is good for us heading into our last week here. So every point matters at this point. So just glad to definitely glad to win the week. But yeah, good points for both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bone Masher saying big shaman and mage brick sometimes. I definitely understand that. I've mech mage is I mean yeah, big shaman when it doesn't get the you know early turn high roll can just kind of be dead in the water, and mech mage can be the same thing if you don't hit like mana cheat or draw. If if you don't get a good balance, it can feel pretty bad. But with that, we can move on into the Brown Conference. Um, so I will go ahead and walk us through from the top. We have Bread Likely still at number 1 with 132 points, record of 5-3, followed by F2L Celadon, 127 points, going at 6-1-1. WTF, 124 points, just behind, with a record of 4-4. Wokage, 116 points, with a record of 3-5. Rounder Throws Going to Work, 114 points, record of 3-5. World Shakers, 96 points, the record of 4-4. And the Weasel Tunnelers with 91 points at 2-5-1. So I mean, clearly much closer in as has been the theme pretty much the entire season. This conference in the middle, pretty much anything can go any way. We've seen looks like a lot of matches have already been played, but there is kind of a lot of room here for shakeups to happen in the middle. I think WTF and Wokage are playing each other, so could see one team surpass another by quite a bit. Wokage, coming from behind. But I think still is a chance that Rounder Through Is Going to Work can slide into playoffs. World Shakers and Weasel Tunnelers, I
We're
haven't run
out.
the math, but I have to imagine have to be mathematically eliminated at this
Very
point.
very close. Yeah, it's super close. Like I just think the way with the other team, the trajectory of the other teams having so many points to grab. I think
Yeah.
if we 23 point, if World Shakers 23 points, they can realistically do it if the other teams just get shut down from here. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yep. Yep. So I think, you know, Fred likely is pretty, solidly up there. F12 Celadon, obviously in a very good spot. Everything else, I mean, there is kind of the clear. I guess the clear biggest gap here is between WTF and Wokage, but overall it is much more tight knit than Green Conference. So definitely interested to see how this pans out in the last week. And just yeah, good luck to everyone playing their matches. Because every point will matter. But on the topic of last week, Marty, what's our first featured match here?
First up, we have Red Likely versus World Shakers. This was a very close match. We have Red Likely taking 3 match wins, but losing the week 13-14 here. And that came down to their wins being 5-game matches, and World Shakers getting a 4-game win and a sweep in the 1 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So, Fish, I know you were talking about this before. This was extremely close. Snapper or Whiskey Chance taking the sweep over Agent PWE, but then Always Just in Time, Nice Jewish Owl, and Bread taking 3-2 wins in their respective matches.
Yeah.
It came down to Devalian to get at least a 3-1 win to seal the week for you guys. And he pulled through against Super Chicken, which extremely impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I will give a big kudos to Bread because he came in as an E-sub, just like only thing, like he just came in and he played, and with like 5 minutes after being essentially being told being like picked as the sub, he just came in and played in 5 minutes, and he played really well. I mean, I might have thrown a little bit on Inner Fire Priest, but I think it was a super close match. And he just, came in kind of pretty cold, having to borrow decks. So, good match. And I'm happy that my team was able to take the win overall.
Yeah, this is definitely, insanely post week here. 13-14, 1 point away, just barely winning the week. So, not very often you see a team get only two match wins, but still take the week. So
Yeah.
big big kudos to World Shakers. I mean, Bread Likely has been the dominant force of the Brown Conference the entire season, really. So definitely a big win to get.
Yeah. Rare instance where I think it might that the match order might have almost just been our seeding order. Is very, very close with that. I think Risky Chance played first and Devalian played last. But yeah,
Gotcha.
We have one more match. Go over here.
Yep. Fish, wanna go ahead?
Sure. We have WTF. Wild THL Fanatics versus the Round Earthers going to work. Starting up at the top, Nops gets a 3-1 win over Battle Tagger, moves to 7-1. Got Slod with a sweep win over Lasagna. So that's pretty huge. We got a 3-2 win for Tom Carter over Labore Sangre. In the 4, Blood Rose taking a 3-2 win over Cresselia. And Schmoopy Daddy with a 3-2 win over Mr. Luke 98. Yeah, and notably his other hunter, which I think was some really weird. Was it like Even Warrior or something like that? That got a win for Schmoopy? Yeah, Even Warrior, which is something that I've never heard of in my life, but he made it work and got a win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big win for WTF. It puts them right in the playoff race. Just I was kind of thinking that I mean the fourth, like the third, fourth, fifth were decently close. I didn't suspect, and all of a sudden WTF is just up there after this massive 21-point week. They're up in the up near the top. They're within striking. I mean, the points show they're within striking distance of even Bread Likely potentially. Yeah, huge win for them. Round Earthers are gonna need a decently good week here to make the ground back up.
Yep, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, like you said, huge win to get. Very important this late in the season. This is this many points, very good jump for the team. Trying to just stay up and above in the playoff race because they are like just on the edge. It is the top
Yeah.
3 teams in each conference, and then the 2 highest after that. So if they can keep themselves up above Wokage, they will make it for sure, and then it will be kind of
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, it'll be
Wokage plays WTF this week, so
yep. So WTF just needs to stay ahead, and then the 2 teams down below just need to fight it out for potentially that 4th slot, assuming what was it if the assuming the Working Greasers do not have the points to make it up. I think that would require I'm not sure what the exact point values are, but that would require Wokage or Round Earthers to get basically 0 points over the next um over this next week, which I mean you never know, could potentially happen, but yeah, just every point matters really. It's very tight in Brown overall, so definitely interested to see how the playoffs pan out. um but with that, I guess we can move on to Marty's player power rankings. Start us off with the honorable mentions. First up, we have Agent PWE with a 5-3 record. They score of 3.54. And we have Nice Jewish Owl going also 5-3. They record points of 3.79. Seth for Christ with a record of 6-2, getting 4.71. Jordan MG going 4-4 with a value of 4.86. And Risky Chance going 5-3 with a value of 4.96. So, Marty, walk us through our top 10.
Gladly. So at number 10, we have Rear Cat at 5-2 record, 5.26 points above the average replacement. At 9, we have 6J, 5.64. 8 is Always Just in Time, whose deck we featured. And at 7, we have Gimme Lamp at 5.9. Itachi just above him at 5.92. 6-0 record there. Corb, although he's 5-3, he has a 6.47 points above replacement.
Dang.
Very impressive. EPT Hopper, 7.92 at 7-1. Then we get to the top 3. Ataraxial in third at 8.11. Nops in second at 9.04. And then Hyperin way ahead in first at 11.1 with an 8-0 record. Congratulations, Hyperin.
Dang, man.
Thank you.
I think that's one of the biggest jumps I've ever seen in PPR the last 2 seasons. It's two whole points above. That's insane.
Yeah, super impressive.
Yeah, I've had in terms of I definitely like the PPR system a little more than looking at game win rate overall. So my game win rate has been rough. Almost, I think 6 of my 8 weeks have gone to game 5 so far. So
Yeah.
my my game win rate is not the hottest, but yeah. definitely been a good season. Um, but yeah, um, I guess with that, unless you guys have anything else to add, we can wrap it up and move back to our main screen, the question of the week.
For sure.
Let's do it.
Gonna screens. There we go.
So, question of the week this week we've kind of alluded to a lot throughout the show, but what teams do we think are on the playoff bubble heading into our final week? Marty, start with you.
Yeah, so there's a lot to take in here. We already discussed that some teams are out.
Mhm.
So the Borgin Greasers are out, Copium Clan is out, basically, and Bash Bros are out. So we know that,
Mhm.
which means Green Conference, top 4 teams are likely in, unless Brown has something to say about that. And there is a team that may actually have something to say about that. 2 of them, actually. Wokage and Round Earthers going to work. So I think these 2 teams, as well as Double TEF,
Mhm.
are on the bubble. I think the Green Conference teams are mostly safe. I really think the ones that we should be watching for are all in brown. So something a little different. I don't think that green teams have anything to worry about. Everything is set. It's going to be a very easy week. Well, it was going to be an easy week for most teams, and then we got balance changes. So
Yep.
it's going to be a lot of testing. But look alive, teams in brown conference, because
Mhm.
nothing is set in stone at all.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you there. Face, you got any
No,
comments to add?
no, I think NHL did definitely put the playoff picture in the correct perspective. And these are the teams that we have. These are the teams that the WTF, Wokage, Round Earthers seem to be the teams that are jockeying for position and seeding and even make the playoffs. Um, because APM is at 122 without having played a match. And unless they fall apart, um, they likely can't. They likely will make it. So I agree that I think the top 4 green teams pretty safe, and it's just those 3 teams that are going to be you're going to be playing for seeding and then for making playoffs. So good luck, everyone, this week. Um, and it's going to be an interesting playoffs for sure.
Yep, I agree with you there. I think yeah, I think for sure um I think mathematically I think what is it? I think uh I'm not sure. There's always fringe cases where like teams go 23-0, but
Well,
that almost
yeah,
never happens. So I think I
yeah.
do think you guys kind of hit it on the head where
Mhm.
green will see the top 4 in kind of a clear jump between 4th and 5th
Mhm.
for green. So that's a clear cutoff point,
Yeah.
which makes it the same cutoff point in brown. So
Mhm.
I think we can kind of see Fred likely Celadon and WTF being pretty safe, and it's mostly just a battle of Wokage and Round Earthers, who are playing Celadon and WTF. So,
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
we'll see how
There
we'll see how
is
those teams do to get keep.
yeah. There's a very small world for World Shakers to 23 point. WTF Celadon and WTF to really take it to the other 2 teams and keep them down enough for World Shakers to make it with
Mm,
119, but it's very very ugly. Like
yeah,
that is a very and Wokage and WTF already have started off like there's 6.5 like that's super close weeks. So yeah,
yeah,
I don't realistically see it happening. Um, even though I'm on World Shakers and seeing that, it gives me some hope, but some very, very slim hope. Doesn't happen very often.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we've covered it all pretty well.
Yep. I think that about wraps it up.
Yep.
So, yeah. With that, go ahead and finish up. Thank you all for coming out. Definitely interested to see for all the matches that have not been played this week what people will make of the the brand new meta. We'll see. Big Shaman probably mostly dead, so we'll see how see if things just go back to how it was pre mini set, or if there's some new stuff to explore there. So yeah. Once again, thank you all for coming out, and good luck to those fighting for a playoff spot.
Sierra.